What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about NIO, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what just came out associated to NIO, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is up slightly 0.29%, which there was a lot of big data that actually just came out. So getting right to it though, NIO did put out their monthly numbers for June and also Q2 2025. So June, there was 24,925 vehicles delivered, and that is an increase of 17.5% year over year. The breakdown is 14,590 for NIO, 6,400 for Envo, and then 3,932 for Firefly. In my opinion, that's a pretty good stuff. Very nice increases. Of course, not the highest. December 2024 was the highest, I do believe, at the 31,000, but still it is making some very good improvements. One thing that they did also provide us with is 72,056 were delivered in Q2. And so I think the real question now is if they're going to hit their 2025 goals. And most likely that is why you do see shorts, which I'll talk on in a second, are really doubling down to suppress NIO. But honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with these numbers. Of course, they could be better, but given even the other news that did come out, such as this right here, there's a lot of promotions being done by NIO and many other automakers in China. So I think given the circumstances, it's cutthroat. Like, this is why a lot of American automakers don't even want to enter into the Chinese market, because the massive amount of competition. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty satisfied with these numbers in my opinion. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, or do you disagree? Do you think that these are subpar? Do you think that they're going to be hitting their 2025 goals and milestones? What's your kind of viewpoint on all that? And of course, with today being Tuesday, we also did get the weekly registration numbers. And so they did come in at 6,280 as a group, which is a 21% increase, which compared to week over week. So good stuff for that. Looks like NIO was 3,790, Envo 1,670, and Firefly 820. So all pretty much good increases on all three. So pretty good stuff for that. This does mark the third consecutive move higher week over week as well. So yeah, honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with these two data points that did come out. And most likely what you're going to see is once the market does truly open, you're going to see big money buying calls and then allowing NIO to really move higher. This is one thing that does always happen with NIO, and why you always see a lot of crazy activity once the market does open. So take all of the pre-market activity with a grain of salt, of course, but honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with these data points. So let me know your viewpoint on that. When it comes down to shorts, they are increasing 2.52 million shares during the pre-market. So they are the culprits on why it is being suppressed. But given the data and even these weekly or monthly numbers that did come out, big money was waiting for a good reason and a catalyst to buy NIO. And in my opinion, this is sufficient enough for them to really push higher and buy NIO. So I don't think that shorts will be able to suppress NIO all that much today. And most likely, we will be seeing probably in the second half of today, if not tomorrow, probably around 2 or 3 new analyst ratings because of this right here. So what's your viewpoint on that? But again, shorts are really increasing. Today, 13.43% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 207.27 million shares overall are being shorted. So interesting to definitely see and analyze. Through IBKR, it does indicate 4.2 million shares is available to be shorted. So we have seen it break off of that in excess of 10 million, as you can kind of see. So in many cases, argument could be made that shorts are getting somewhat overextended, trying to artificially really suppress it more than what is available. So again, that could really work in NIO's favor. Based on the options though, and so ultimately going over here, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 350 mark and above for this week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 3. So I think the bears were really anticipating for this data that came out today to flop. So at the end of the day, I think shorts are going to be kind of losing a little bit today, but obviously we've seen a lot of crazier things happen with NIO, and despite some of the data, it might go down, is kind of the moral of the story. But so far during the pre-market, we aren't seeing any transactions on the secondary market or the dark pool. And so again, this is why shorts are pretty much the large force that is really suppressing NIO during the pre-market, but that could change once the market does open. With it right now at 344, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 331 is going to be a strong support. 349 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 378. So far, no new analyst ratings, but like I said, that could come either later today or potentially tomorrow. No real articles really coming out of substance to really bring up or anything like that, but on the actual chart, 378, which is of course another fib level, resistance level, that is that 50-day moving average. That is a very big deal for NIO. Not saying we're going to get there today, but most likely today we're going to see a battle of that 350. And if it's able to successfully get above that, then in theory, over the next couple of trading days, just watch for that 378. And normally that does result in like a 30% swing if NIO is able to successfully close above that 50-day moving average for 2 consecutive days. So something again to keep in mind. Going into today though, looking at stochastic RSI, you see it very oversold, and that you can see that based on this right here. So there's a lot of good reasons to be somewhat optimistic and bullish on NIO, but there's a lot of geopolitical kind of scenarios happening. Trump seems to be very irritated lately, and I don't know, maybe tariff and things aren't really going according to plan. Maybe the debt ceiling, tax bill, there's a lot of things kind of up in the air that the market is somewhat cautiously worried about at the end of the day. But no matter what, even if NIO does get suppressed today and it still closes red despite the relatively good data, it's still, in my opinion, once it does hit profitability, that's where what happens operationally, and the stock price, it will align a little bit better. So let me know your general thoughts on NIO. Are you buying? Are you selling? Do you think that these numbers are wrong potentially and not really a good catalyst to buy? Or what's your kind of number that you are really thinking and really satisfied with? So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. And then happy Canada Day to all the Canadians out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my nice fun glasses and all that fun jazz. But with all that, you guys have a good rest of the day. And if there is some significant updates to shorts, data points today, I can do a after hours video if necessary. Again, if a lot of things do change. But let me know your viewpoint, and everyone have a good rest of the day.